get my charger. Just in case.
Hello, welcome to Ring Takes as Lewis plugs in his charger. We'll wait for him in a minute. But this episode here, of course, I'm joined by Brian and Lewis here. As we're setting up here, reviewing Night of Champions in recent pay-per-view extravaganza that happened this weekend with every main show in progress with pay-per-views. Night of Champions with WWE, NXT Battleground, of course, AEW Battle, Double or Nothing, which was, I saw from clips, was insane. You guys can lead the charge on that as well. But we're going to get into our Night of Champions results here. And I guess this is history made here, as we've had Lewis with the clean sweep.
Let's go.
Going 7-0 on Night of Champions for the first time ever, of course. We've all got Trish over Becky Wright. We got Rhea over Natalia Wright. Brian got Bianca Belair retaining over Asuka wrong. Me and Lewis got Asuka. Gunther, clean sweep over Mustafa Ali. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I got wrong. I thought the Bloodline was going over, as they should have, as I thought of. But they did not. We all got Brock Lesnar, and we all got Seth Rollins. But Lewis with the first ever sweep in our pay-per-view picks. For the first time ever, I think we've had 4 pay-per-views: Elimination Chamber.
I have the mind of a wrestling creator.
In Rico, Night of Champions, and Money in the Bank next. All right, let's settle down here.
Now I just want to know, how do I apply to become a writer? What is the process? I need to be in there.
You got to work for like NBC or some shit. You got to work for like NBC.
You just got to watch this. Like my predictions are. I know what you guys are doing.
I mean, you can't be a wrestling writer because they're not looking for wrestling writers. I mean, if you're a wrestling writer, you're the farthest. You gotta be an
sports entertainer writer.
Exactly.
Story writer.
You gotta be on SNL. You gotta be right for SNL for 5 years, and then maybe they'll pick you. But yeah, overall picks: Lewis is 24-8, Brian is 21-11, and I'm 20-12 because I take risk on the show with my picks. It's not scared, so that's why last place right now. But Night of Champions, what do you guys think about? It could be looking completely different right now. But what are you guys' thoughts of Night of Champions? Of course, Seth Rollins was crowned the new heavyweight champion. Trish had a little help from Zoe Stark. Asuka is now the Raw Women's Champion or SmackDown Women's Champion, or however they want to play that. We still don't know. Rhea Ripley retained, of course, over Natalia.
In beautiful fashion.
That was an opportunity for
beautiful
Natalia
fashion.
To cement.
Beautiful. I was so happy. Happy.
It's about time they heard me. Like they heard me.
But yeah, what do you guys thought of Night of Champions?
Exactly what I said. Like quick squash, get in and out. Thank you.
I'll let you go first, Brian.
Thank you. I can go first.
Yeah.
Well, Night of Champions as a whole, I honestly think out of all the wrestling shows this weekend, that Night of Champions was the best show. I mean, when you look at things such as crowd atmosphere, the pace of the show, I definitely think Night of Champions was number one in that aspect. To me, the match of the night, if I could really pick one, is really a tie between the main event with KO and Sammy against Roman and Solo, or the women's the Raw women's title match between Bianca Belair and Asuka. See, I'm even getting the titles mixed up at this point. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I did, to see the story that was told with Asuka, in the Mist. I mean, I believe in their WrestleMania 39 match, Asuka attempted to use the Mist and Bianca got out of the way of it. And then she tried to use the Mist again in this match, and Bianca dodged it. So then psychology-wise, well, if I can't spit it at her, let me just put it in, like legit, just put it in her eye. And it kind of goes with the story of this is a new Asuka now, and if there was going to be anybody that was going to dethrone Bianca, I mean, I'm glad it was her. You know, the momentum wise, had she lost, I mean, where would you have gone with Asuka after that? I mean, looking back on it, I don't know why I didn't think about that when I made these picks because when I watched it and I saw her win, I was just thinking, now see if she had lost, I mean, you can't really do anything with her after that. I mean, that's two losses. That's two losses to the champ. But
let's go for those tag titles again.
Exactly. But also Cody and Brock. I love the story that was told there. With Cody and the broken arm. You know, it almost seemed as though they were trying to kind of mirror the Cody and Seth match from last year, in which Cody has an injury and he's trying to fight through it. Definitely like the storytelling there. There's definitely going to be a third match now. Probably is going to be at Money in the Bank, or if not that, SummerSlam. So, and I did see a report that long-term wise, Roman and Cody for the title is the plan, but it's not going to be SummerSlam. So, as unfortunate as that is, at least we get another Cody and Brock match. The main event. We've been saying it for all year long how this is the best story in pro wrestling. You know, when you break down this whole storyline with the Usos and the Bloodline, you know, something that I realized, you know, if you go back to 2 years ago when before there was a Bloodline, when it was just Roman and Paul Heyman. And Jay was feuding with them. You know, I think I brought this up. You know, the last man standing match they had. You know, Jay quit because Roman was going to attack Jimmy because Jimmy was trying to keep Roman from attacking Jay, and it made me realize that like when you look at this whole storyline, you know, Jimmy was kind of like forced into the Bloodline in a sense. He didn't like. I mean. When you see how the storyline's been playing out, obviously him and Jay are, you know, one for all with the Bloodline. But when we talk about how initially they came together, you know, Jay succumbed to Roman a lot faster than Jimmy did initially. I mean, I think there was even a little story that they had of Jimmy getting into the Bloodline because initially he wasn't with it, and then he eventually kind of got forced into it. So when you see now. Jimmy kind of being the one to kind of start this whole breakup of the Bloodline, you know, it's very interesting when you break it down that way. But match quality wise, the main event was what it was. Like I said, the story kind of took precedent over the match, but in this case, it's a good thing because it is the best story in wrestling. But yeah, Night of Champions was a great show. It was a great show, the best show of the weekend for me. And like I said, it's about time WWE listened to my ideas, and like I said with Rhea and Natalia, you know, apparently they said like 90 seconds, but like I said, 90 seconds in, 90 seconds out. Quick pin.
They squashed a legend. They squashed a Hall of Famer.
Like you said, she's a Hall of Famer. She's a legend, so she'll be okay.
Houseway.
All right, you can go ahead.
Go ahead.
As the man with all the knowledge, yes, I thought Night of Champions was a great show. I honestly thoroughly enjoyed every card from the opening, which I thought was a banger. Which I was a little going first. I thought I might have gone like second to last, but I guess you know the big spots are usually always like opening and last or whatever. So definitely a good spot, and you know, Seth Rollins definitely deserves it. I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping for a little bit of AJ. I think I just got that. You know, I want that AJ run. You know, another Tyler run before he retires. But definitely the right call, and you know, it's that full circle moment with like him and Triple H. You know, from him giving them the title in NXT to the Universal title to this title, it's like, you know, it's crazy how much progression you've seen with Seth Rollins to where he is now. Mm-hmm. And, I just hope this title, which I honestly think is, I don't know, I hear a lot of people with like the B title because of the whole Roman thing, but hopefully when he does lose the titles, I don't know what is going to be done with that. Are you splitting up those titles? Is it going to be 3 main event titles? Like, it just, somebody just, like, for you to just keep winning double titles, it's just like, that's the whole confusing part about this, because it's just like, so there's going to be 3 main event titles, but one person's always going to win 2. It's like,
at some
one
point,
of those, you got to get rid of at least one.
They got to give him one belt.
Yeah,
they got to just fuse the belt.
Whoever finally beats him is just going to end up with one belt.
Yeah.
They got to Jay.
They're probably going to introduce a new title when
give me Jay. But yeah, the pacing of the whole pay-per-view was great. Love that Rhea match. Beautiful.
You guys just think this is a joke now, don't you?
What are you talking about? It was a great showing. Rhea's strength, her ring mentality, planning strategically, taking down her opponents as quick as she can.
By the way, I just want to say, as far as Rhea Ripley goes, can you not see the differences between Triple H booking Rhea and Vince booking Rhea?
Oh, of course.
Do you see the difference? It's a complete 180. Like,
but I don't know. For me, if you could have had when Rhea first came in and just be dominant like she is now, I would have preferred that to just, I don't know, just a Judgment Day. I'm like, just get out of here. I'm like, I don't need it. Like, her character's like, she's dominant, but still with the whole mommy thing. It's like, do you really need this? Like, you're a champion.
She's one of the reasons why Dominic is the hardest heel in the business right now.
She is a dominatrix. You get it? Dominatrix.
You don't know
that is the angle she's
See, Daniel, funny thing is, they probably said the exact same thing in the creative meeting and thought, oh, dominate. Oh,
dominate. I just got that.
That's what it is. They're playing into it. They're playing
I'm thinking of an actual, and I was like, that makes sense. Okay. Good play on words. I like that.
They're definitely playing into that.
And yeah, like, what else? That Gunther match was very good. I'm not gonna lie. For the slightest second, I thought Ollie might have a chance, but then I was like, "Nah, this isn't happening."
Yeah, but that's how good the match was. The fact that it made you feel like there's a hope.
Exactly.
So that's how good it
was. And the fact they gave him that showing, that's the thing for me. That the fact that they gave him that type of showing and actually making him look like he's gonna potentially be a challenger, that I at least like that.
And then crazy thing, now he's on NXT.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I heard.
I didn't see. I just saw it before we got that. Him and Baron Corbin are in NXT right now. I was like, that's crazy. But hey, it might, do what it's doing to Apollo and a couple other people. So who knows?
Rejuvenate them, give them a little
shine. Yeah, like it'll give them that push. And yeah, the main event. And I think I don't know. I was saying before the pay-per-view that, I don't know, for me the Bloodline story, I guess, was getting a little stale, but this was definitely worth the payoff, and it was everything that but you know what's funny, I thought it was actually how I said, like, they were gonna screw them into losing, but I didn't think it was going to be some blatant, like, I thought it was going to be like them just screwing Roman and Roman being like, what the hell? And then they would have, like, turned on him. I didn't think it was going to be a whole big turn, literally during the match. And then they're like, oh shit. And now it's like everything is just coming full circle with the implosion. And Brian, what you said is true. I honestly, because I remember the whole Jay Roman feud, but I forgot that when Jay finally, was made to be in the Bloodline, Jimmy was like, oh, you really gonna listen to this man? You gonna let him, like, treat you like this and this and that? And I honestly forgot all about that. And for some reason, I thought that he just kind of came back around. But I remember the whole Last Man Standing was like he was, like, injured, And then when Roman started coming after him, he was like, no, like I quit. And it's just the storytelling with this has been very good. And I think speaking of like All or Nothing, I was watching the press conference thing that MJF was saying. He was like, I think the problem that a lot of like the internet wrestling community has is like they want things so like fast. They'll be like, oh, this person's a great champ, and then next week, they need to put the title on somebody else. It's like literally what we're getting now is this actual storytelling, and maybe a lot of people aren't used to it, and they're like, no, I want this person the title. I want this person here. I want this person now. Blah, blah, blah. It's just like, no, we got to build this shit up. Or if not, then we're just going back to shit flip-flopping and not making sense, and people just getting random title reigns,
1999 in WCW? Yes. Where everybody was winning the title? Yes.
Yeah. So,
literally everybody was changing titles, but yeah, go ahead.
Definitely a great and it's what's funny is that most of these Saudi Arabia pay-per-views have not in the past. For me, I'm like, I don't even need to watch this. I can just watch the highlights. But this one was definitely one to watch. And the crowd
I know why you're saying that. No Goldberg matches. That's why you're saying that. You're hating another legend.
Listen, one of those matches in Saudi Arabia he had against Lashley was actually good. That's the only
the one with his son getting dragged into it.
Where he got hurt? No,
no. We don't need to see that. That Undertaker match needs to just be taken off of the Peacock platform in general. Like, out of respect for the Undertaker, just scrap that match off.
Josh Chin and a jackhammer.
We all thought we lost the Undertaker that day.
Exactly.
But Night of Champions, of course, was awesome, as we all said. The opening match with Seth Rollins and AJ, you're not going to get a bad match out of those guys. You're going to always get an awesome match, especially entertaining. Of course, the lineage with NXT, Triple H rewarding the title, and I love that for Triple H too, because he's kind of seeing the fruits of his labor, right? Like putting those seeds into NXT and seeing them grow for multiple superstars now on the main roster. Asuka as well. As we continue, you get the Trish and Becky match, which I thought Trish actually looked formidable in, especially after her disaster at WrestleMania and how cringy and how bad the promos were. I actually liked how that match was. I like the addition of Zoe Stark into that. They're giving a little rub to a newcomer. And her move is awesome as well. Becky, of course, bloody face and all of that, and they're kind of going at each other right now, as we saw on Raw. Asuka winning the Raw Women's Championship, I thought that was the right move because I felt like it was off. It's not a main pay-per-view. It's a safe exchange between these two people. And the psychology behind Asuka with the mist and stuff like that, as Brian said earlier, I thought that was a nice touch. I thought it was a different element to that, right? Like, because she already wasted the mist, so it's like, all right, does she have another mist in her? Or how is she going to do that? And to see that actually, like, have her tape her hand, put the mist on her hand, and then blind Bianca. Nice touch. I like that. Like, it wasn't like it was straight, and that's how Asuka needed to win, right? Like, if she was going to cheat to win, I'm fine with that. Other matches, of course, Gunther and Ali. I was thoroughly impressed by that match. I was happy for Ali to get that showing, get that shine on him. Gunther, of course, is just always impressive. Even selling for Ali, I was like, okay, Gunther, all right, cool. We're seeing that element of Gunther, like you always see big men that don't sell or are bad at selling and stuff like that. Gunther doesn't have that problem of doing that, but that was a highly entertaining match. Rhea Ripley destroying Natalya isn't really worth talking about because you guys already made a joke.
That was a great match.
You guys already made a joke of it. But that's what should have happened. Ultimately, is what should have happened. I don't even know why that was a challenge or anything like that. They could have done Zelina Vega again, and I would have been happy with that. I thought that would have been an easier. She's on SmackDown.
Where's Piper Niven?
Zelina Vega's on SmackDown with the LWO.
But it's the SmackDown Women's Championship. Whatever. I'm never going to understand.
There's nothing to understand with that. Like,
moving on to Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. I thought that was an awesome match, and I thought that was the way that it needed to go. We can make Cody look valiant with the cast. I thought that was awesome and a nice play on that. Brock Lesnar looking dominant and getting his win. He didn't get him the tap, but he did choke him out. So I'm like, at least that's a good move, potentially setting up more for those two in the future. But the match of the night for me was obviously the Bloodline. We were in the chat, and I sent the gif of everybody hates Chris going, wow, because I did not expect that to happen.
No, I seen that, and I was just like, okay, whatever he's sending, something crazy.
You didn't see it yet, but I was just like,
because I was at work, and I was like, oh,
wow,
all right, this is worth watching. All right.
So when I saw that, I was just like, holy shit, that happened. But the way that was played up, them first kicking Solo, setting off Roman to get in the ring and then say, hey, you guys are messing up, get out my ring, and push him in the face like he's been doing Jimmy recently. Just too much disrespect for them in that situation. And Jimmy finally snapped and kicked him multiple times, and basically pulling Jay out the ring like, yo, we're done with this. Like, we got to make this decision now, and we're not going to keep taking this shit. I thought that was awesome. Of course, KO and Sammy got the win. Just good storytelling, right? Like, just great storytelling. Obviously, this is setting up either Money in the Bank for something to happen, SummerSlam potentially to happen. Whatever the case, however we get there, the Bloodline storyline is continuing to pay its dividends. It's creating stars out of everybody. I really think so. Solo is looking awesome in these matches, looking like a dominant force. All the interactions that he has, I think about that. Jimmy and Jay are now going to be in that main event picture, right? Like, they're going to get that rub finally again, and that's the right move. I think that's the way that you create the stars, and I think that's the benefit of this right now with the Bloodline is that even though we get a little hesitation for other people like Sheamus and Drew over the past 2 years or whatever the case may be, them kind of going into the background, Jimmy and Jay are probably now going to ascend into that main event level and see if they can get even a run or see if they can be in that at least upper echelon of contenders, which I can't wait to see. I'm interested to see how this goes. There's so many ways this can go, and you think about Solo being Uso's brother, it's just like that's another element in this that's crazy, right? Like, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But Night of Champions was awesome. I loved it from minute to end, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I thought they did a pretty good job of putting together and having that type of impact. The crowd definitely made it awesome as well.
Okay. All right. So, question now, as far as Rhea Ripley goes. So, who's next? Who do you guys think is next? Or who should it be?
Raquel.
Yeah. It's probably gonna end.
That would be a good matchup.
She's not really. I mean, their tag team lost,
and because of the size between them, they're gonna probably save that for, like I said, maybe SummerSlam, just the spectacle of both of them.
Where is Piper? Is she on?
They got to save that for SummerSlam.
Yeah, Piper's on Raw. Yeah, we actually haven't seen her since she got drafted. Yeah. Why aren't they using Piper? I have no idea. But yeah, they're over here doing hype packages for Candice LeRae. Yeah.
That's a big contender.
And I'm not saying that because Candice LeRae is really good. Candice LeRae is good, but I'm just saying there's other women you should be putting before her, like a Piper.
Yeah. It's tough with the. It's very. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't transition as well from the men to the women, where it's like you have your Zelina Vegas, the Candice LeRae's, like kind of the smaller female wrestlers, and then you have the bigger Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley. Yeah, the powerhouse. And I don't know what it is. It just, I felt like the only person who kind of translated it well was Sasha, because Sasha is not the biggest, and even Becky as well. But it's just like, I don't know what it is with the other female.
Like the smaller wrestlers are not transitioning. Well, first of all, they're not. They don't book them strongly.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
What has Candice LeRae done on the main roster? Lose to Damage
she just can't. She's just been drafted. So
yeah,
but not really much of anything. She hasn't done anything other than.
But that's WWE struggle. Is like you need to make these women look strong. You can't like, oh hey, here's Zelina challenging for a title, and then boom, she's losing, or even beforehand. You can't just have her win like 1 or 2 matches and then be like, oh, she's a real contender. Like, no, you got to like build not saying do some whole like Braun Strowman and give him like squash matches, but like give somebody an actual like 2-3 weeks. Like, wow, look, they beat this person, they beat that person. All right, they
should at least be competitive booking.
Exactly.
I'm not saying do 50-50 booking all the time or whatever the case may be, but you can have competitive matches. There's no need for 2 to 3 minute matches for the women's division anymore. That should be done.
Yeah,
like there should be enough wrestling on TV where you, even for 5-10 minutes, they can get an actual match in. Like they should be able to do that.
And I don't know if it's the cycle, because I feel like NXT has a better flow of the women's matches. I don't know, when it comes to the main roster, it's just like they just have these like super quick, just to get more people on the tag matches and here and there, and then they just don't give that competitive nature to like somebody who's like about to go for the title, unless they're just like a main person like Asuka, Bianca, Becky, who we know obviously are these elite, but it's like if you're trying to create these new stars, you got to give them a showing. You got to give them
and I think we all know
or
that,
something.
I think we all know that Candice LeRae, Zelina Vega, Liv Morgan, those people aren't beating Bianca Belair and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like we know that. But if you're going to use them as frequently on TV as they do, at least make it at least competitive between all the rest of them. To say, hey, at least this person here got a rub here. Okay, let's see if they can be a contender or whatever the case may be. At least go that route, but they're not even doing that, and it's just like
I mean, like Candice really, like I feel like unless she like takes out whoever this week, then next week they're like, then maybe if she wins this, like gets thrown into a number one contenders match, then it just becomes more believable, and like you're not just looking like really like this girl's gonna be.
Is she gonna team up? Is she gonna team up with Becky Lynch? Because wasn't Zoe Stark picking on Nikki Cross? And then
I don't know where that whole Nikki Cross story is going. I just
think that was just more about like just introducing Zoe Stark.
Yeah. But
there was no real plan with Nikki Cross.
But they've been playing that angle for like weeks now, where she just keeps following her and like
being a
just like what is
I'm saying you would think in this case, if Becky's gonna have a partner, it would be an up and coming female to kind of put her over in a sense. So we know who
Becky's partner is gonna be. Come on,
Lita.
Of course, of course.
They can't do that.
But they're going to though, because it's
gonna come back for redemption.
Because this is long-term storytelling that we're doing right now. They gotta go back to how she got attacked in the first place.
Exactly.
I saw a post. Somebody was like, they were like, if Becky's having an issue with Trish, she should have called Jazz. She never beat Jazz. Jazz used to beat the shit.
Yeah, Jazz used to fuck her shit up like every match.
Jazz used to jack everyone up.
I remember Jazz's matches like that. I don't know why.
I just remember her beating the shit out of the women's roster.
I remember anytime she was matched up against like a Lita or a Trish, I was just thinking, fuck, that's an L.
She used to beat the hell out of them, man.